Doug MPA back with another one. So this is number 14 of my women on TikTok who regret their student loan debt series. I'm gonna put a link in the description of all 13 of the other ones, and then I'm gonna put a comment pinned to the top with all 13 links. And guys, I can make these forever, I think, because each week there are more and more women complaining about the fact that they made the stupid mistake of going into a bunch of debt for a degree that nobody cares about. Guys, I'm gonna say it like I say at the beginning of every single one of my student loan debt videos. A woman's debt, student loan debt in particular, should be a disqualifier for consideration for serious relationship or marriage. A woman's debt reflects her decision-making process or lack thereof. Don't get involved with a woman who has a whole bunch of debt. You gotta have a limit. Okay, so maybe she's like 20,000 or 30,000, maybe, but $150,000, guys, it's
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
no way, man. That's too much money. So I'm gonna get into this compilation. Before I do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. I really appreciate it. It shows you support me and what I'm doing over here. And this first one is kind of funny. She doesn't complain about her student loan debt, but it's on the same topic. So let's see what this girl has to say.
Public service announcement to the people who are blatantly in my comment section talking about they're not going to pay back their student loans. Yes, they took my taxes 2 years in a row. They don't play about them student loans. Let's get into it. Because the same people that's in my comment section hollering about, I'm not going to pay my student loans. They can get it whenever they get it. Y'all be the same ones that be thirsty for a tax refund.
She's 100% correct. The government is going to get their money. The IRS hired a whole bunch of people that they're going to get you PPP scammers and they're going to get that student loan money. You best believe. So don't play around. Don't play around with your private loans or your public loans. You need to figure out a way to start paying those back. You better move back in with your parents, get a second job, do something.
Y'all be the same people that would cuss out a tax preparer because you did not get back as much money as you got back last year. Y'all was the same people that was getting fake PPP loans, and now you running from the government.
Yep. People are still getting caught. If you Google PPP loans, people are still getting caught from the cough and taking out PPP loans.
But honestly, none of that even matters. At the end of the day, your student loans are due unless they are deferred or unless they have been forgiven. If none of those things have happened, your student loan payments are due. You can attempt to not pay them. That's on you. But as for me and my clients, we pay our debts.
Sounds about right. And hey, she's trying to get through to these women. Say, pay your debts, pay your student loans, because they're coming for that money.
No one is convincing me that there will be real consequences of not paying back my student loans, and this is why. For about 6 months during 2020, I was working as a call center agent at the unemployment agency. So this is like height of the pandemic when they were giving away the stimulus checks and the PUA and all that extra money. And there was a significant amount of unemployment fraud happening during that time. The government tracks all that stuff. Like, they know when people are submitting like multiple claims under different names or in different states, or when they're lying about like not really being unemployed. And there's a whole department that handles the fraud investigations. But during the pandemic, they were so overwhelmed that they couldn't handle them all. And the way that they decided to manage the fact that there was so much fraud is they were just like, we're going to stop payments on anybody's account who looks even remotely suspicious.
Okay, I'm going to stop this right now. What's this have to do with your student loans? And here's the thing, guys. Even if a bunch of people are getting away with not paying their student loans, do you want to be the one that suffers the consequences? It's just like white collar crime. These people that scam and embezzle and stuff, guys, don't do it. Because even if a lot of people are getting away with it, do you want to be the few that don't and get locked up? Nothing's worth my freedom, guys. Nothing. No way. Doug MBA's never been arrested, never been to jail. I ain't going to jail over no fraud. I ain't going to jail over no student loans. I ain't going to jail over nothing. And this woman is just willing to take that risk. You know why? Because she's a woman.
And so then that led to a bunch of people who should have been getting their money, like not getting paid over these nonsensical reasons because they didn't know how to control the fact that so many people were getting off. And then when someone did actually like get caught and like charged with fraud or whatever, and they would tell them that they had to repay like X amount of money, I literally asked my boss, like, so with these people who owe like $10,000, $20,000, whatever, what happens if they just never pay it? And like technically on paper, yes, there were consequences, but the reality is they didn't have the manpower to actually enforce tracking down all these people who owe all this money. And so that brings me back to the student loans, because I'm glad we were all standing on business. Like when I've been saying that I wasn't paying mine back, I was serious. I haven't even logged into the place where the loans are located. I don't even know the exact dollar amount.
See, guys, she just deny it even exists. And that's why you see cases where women started off with 30,000 and then 8 years later it's 100,000. Don't do this, guys, and stay away from women that have this mindset. Because if she's not responsible with her money and her debt, she won't be responsible with your money. Come on, you guys. Stay away from women like this.
Glad I'm not alone, because this is the thing. What are they going to do if we all don't pay? Because there is not going to be the manpower to enforce any sort of more harsh consequences. Why would I pay my loans when I could be spending my money on glittery nails for the holidays? Be fucking for real.
There it is, guys. These women, they just don't care. They rack up a bunch of debt, consumer debt, mortgages, car payments, and then student loan debt, and pretend it doesn't even exist.
Hey guys, it's Megan Anderson, and I have an idea on how you all should stop paying your student loans, because my last student loan payment was 2009, and I'm here to tell you exactly what happens when you stop paying your student loans.
This should be stunning, guys. This should be great. Let's listen. Let's see if we can glean any tips from this wise sage.
I started college in 2002. I turned 39 this month, and I still owe over $30,000 in both federal and private student loans. I owe about $30,000 in my private alone, and then another $5,000 in my federal. So technically that's 35 for me total. But like everybody else, I'm used to make payments for years, and now my balance is up to 80 something, and I don't understand.
She went from 30,000 to 80 something just because she didn't pay on her student loans. Sounds about right. And this is what happens when you just let your student loans go. The interest keeps accruing.
That's so much more than what I borrowed. All right, so let's get down to it. This is what happens when you stop paying both your federal and your private loans. Both of my last payments on both of those types of student loans was around 2009. So basically, not paying your student loans will fuck up your credit for 10 years. So if you are in
Oh, is that all? It'll just mess up your credit for 10 years. Oh, that's not too bad, is it, guys?
an apartment you love, you're not looking to borrow money, you're not looking to buy a car.
So if you're not looking to rent an apartment, if you're not trying to borrow money, if you're not trying to buy a car, you're perfectly fine.
It may be a good time for you to see if this is what you should do in your specific situation. So what happens is both your federal and your private student loans will get sold off to a third-party debt collection agency. They are literally, our debt is literally bought for pennies on the dollar, and this is true for both your federal and your private loans. Yes, the Department of Education will sell off your federal loan to whatever Acme, whatever the fuck debt collection agency. So if we when they pay pennies on the that's a whole nother story. So what happens is you ghost all these collectors, you don't talk to them, you don't respond to them. They're going to do a bunch of scary, harassive things. Just ignore them. They're all just blowing hot air.
Oh yeah, and like she said, all you have to do is just ignore the debt collectors calling you 15 times a day. Oh, that's all. That was disgusting, guys. Come on.
Unfortunately, you can't claim a student loan in a bankruptcy case. There's a couple types of things one can never write off in a bankruptcy case. That is student loans, back taxes, and child support. So basically, every state has a statute of limitation for consumer debt, credit card debt, personal loan debt, and student loans count as that. Regular old consumer debt. Check where you live, but where I live in California, it's only 4 years. So that means that after 4 years of you ghosting the debt collectors, they can no longer sue you for what you owe. They also can no longer garnish your wages. Now, note that for federal student loans, that doesn't apply. In theory, they could always garnish a wage at any time in your life for a student loan. I have yet to ever have a tax return, paycheck, anything ever garnished in my entire life. I'm not going to sit here and say it won't happen. I am one out of millions. It personally just hasn't happened to me. But they absolutely cannot garnish your wages for private student loans. And that's where most of us have most of our student loan debt.
That's cap. Most people have federal student loan debt. Most people have federal student loan debt. And her whole plan depends on you taking private loans. And we all know that private loans are the most toxic because most private student loans have a higher interest rate. And then any kind of forgiveness doesn't apply to private student loans. She's capping. Most people have federal student loans. So her little plan here isn't going to work for most people. So, guys, don't consider this, and ladies, don't consider this either.
That is with our private loans, not the loans that they were going to try to forgive and people are freaking out about it because, they don't want to give people an easier life, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, so basically they can't sue you after 4 years. They can't come after your wages. So after 10 years, any default credit, this is true for credit cards, personal loans, including student loans again, if you don't make any payment at all for after 10 years, it falls off your credit report.
Guys, I've had enough of this. She's just talking about private loans. Student loan debts, federal, are here to stay. And there are women that might actually listen to this. There's a lot of women that just aren't paying their student loans. And they're looking for guys like you to help them out, guys, to save them. Don't do it, guys. I implore you. Stay away from women with debt. Have the conversation about their debt before you get serious. Ask them, hey, if you own a house, are you upside down on your mortgage? How much is your car payment? Because there's a bunch of women out there that have $1,000 a month car payment. Ask him how much the student loan debt is. Guys, Doug and PA just moved from the DC area, and the average woman, that professional woman I would go out with, had over $100,000 in student loan debt. Most women, if they have a graduate degree or higher, are over $100,000 in student loan debt. Be vigilant. Avoid these women at all costs. Your mental, emotional, and financial health are at stake. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.